some of these stories that were coming to light through the social media pages
Mhm.
and some of the experiences that the students were addressing. What were your thoughts? What were your immediate thoughts as you saw these starting to come out?
Very disheartening. When when you start to see some of the items and messages that are posted, it is very disheartening. So we do absolutely do not condone any type of the behaviors that were described. Um, it's taking a look at what we've seen thus far, and we're dedicated to creating a welcoming environment for all of our students that's free of racism, discrimination, or bullying. So I feel like the things that are being brought to our attention, and if there's anything that's brought to our attention right now that's of the immediate concern, we are investigating those items and or those reports, and we are um, proceeding with the appropriate investigation and steps to try to come to consequences and or resolution. But we are dedicated to creating a welcoming environment free of racism and discrimination. And we're looking into all the reports that are giving to us, which comes back to your question, that are brought to our attention, and we will address those immediately. Um, so that's where we're at right now, related to that matter.
And generally, what's your impression of the general environment at the school? And did this come as a surprise to you to see so many?
It did come to a surprise, although I know there have been past issues, and looking at some previous information, I know that this isn't the first that we've seen some of this type of situations related to either discrimination or racism. So we have really worked hard over the years to create a very safe and welcoming environment where we know our students. We try to be visible. Um, any reports of bullying or racism, we do take them very seriously. We investigate them. We try to handle those appropriately, depending on what each situation is unique. So we need to investigate them and look at all the factors and then determine how we move forward. In some of the cases that have been reported more recently, like the online types of situations, it appears that there may be some individuals that don't feel comfortable coming and talking to us. So we are utilizing the Safe to Say statewide program, that system, to provide, and we're just trying to continue to get that word out. We train our students on that at the beginning of the year. It's located in several locations on our district webpage. It's a way for, and we're encouraging, any parents or students, if they don't feel a special connection with somebody here within our district, to utilize that method to make us aware of it. And we are held accountable for investigating what is reported to us and looking at how to come to, if there are consequences that need to be administered, looking at it, investigating it, looking at all the variables, and then determining how we move forward as an administrative team here within our district. Um, we do try to provide, we try to build relationships with our students where they do feel open and comfortable to come and talk to us. But obviously there are some students that feel that we need to work on that area. So at this point, we're looking to utilize the Safe to Say system, Safe to Say something, and then investigating those situations right now is how we're currently trying to address any concerns that either students or parents or guardians don't feel comfortable reaching out to us face to face, that provides another method for them to reach out and make us aware of it. Um, from here, we would need to identify some key people in the community to work with, and try to identify if there are certain things we need to do within the district to enhance the systems we have in place for students to feel, fostered in a conducive learning environment where they feel safe, if they aren't feeling safe, and working through the concerns that may exist within the larger community at this point.
Right. And would that possibly include some of the organizers of the social media pages?
It could, yes, it could. We've been reaching out. I'm sure that it would include a number of other people like parents, community members, to work through, have an open dialogue, and we welcome that. We welcome the open dialogue. We have always openly welcomed that. But if people don't feel like that, they feel comfortable in approaching us, then that in and of itself, we need to figure out a way to work together to find methods where we can have that open dialogue. And I hope that the message is that we're all a team. That it's a school community. We have to work together, and we're teaching our students skills to help them become college and career ready. So even when they graduate from our institution here, we want to make sure that they have the skill sets later in life if they have similar situations, so that we're able to teach the skill sets and provide those opportunities for people to feel comfortable to have this kind of conversation and to work through matters that may exist related to either discrimination or racism.
Right. And beyond the safe to say, if they are in person and they do want to report something right away, or look for somebody to talk to, what resources do you have now? And I guess will enhancing those resources be part of the improvements?
Sure. And we have utilized a number of resources in the past. With being a small rural school district, obviously funding has a large impact on what we may be able to do within our system. And typically, we're working on a pretty tight budget. So when you're looking at, we could reach out and look at what resources exist um, in different organizations throughout the state. And I'm actively looking at that right now to see if there are other programs that may be out there that we could consider, any types of trainings. But I think it comes back to the conversation that takes place. We need to fully understand what are the main concerns right now. How do we create enhance the safe environment where people would feel comfortable coming in and sharing concerns with us, and what types of training would be recommended from the group that comes together. Like if we have a conversation and it's determined that there's certain types of uh, trainings that we may want to investigate, then we have that type of conversation. But uh,
Some of the, just backing up just a moment, some of the allegations that came up on the social media sites involved students, but others, teachers as well. Will that be part of the investigation, and is some sort of, I don't know if punishment's the right word, but is some sort of action taken possible?
yeah, any type of complaint that we receive, we investigate any and all um, incidents that are brought to our attention. And you're absolutely right. We do follow whatever types of consequences would need to be administered. We do follow those protocols. With personnel, it may be a little bit different. Those things are obviously handled um, in a different method. Um, just as if there's a student matter, those are handled with confidentiality as well. So we do investigate all those matters, and we look at all the variables. There is obviously conversations that take place during those investigations before a final decision is made.
And the group in their petition, they had I think a list of five demands. One was a zero tolerance policy, and I think another minimum punishments for this type of behavior. And is that something that's going to be at least taken into consideration, or where does that stand?
Yes, our school district does not tolerate or condone any kind of acts of racism or bullying. We do currently have a non-discrimination policy. It's policy 103. That is listed on our district webpage. It's accessible. It's open to the public. We're also held accountable by the recent Title IX regulations that are in place. Our district staff at the administrative level has gone through that training. All that is outlined on our district webpage as well. We can continue to look at, so once we have this open dialogue with some community stakeholders, we will come back and review our policies and see if we need to enhance anything that may be in those policies already. If it doesn't need to be improved in policy, it could need to be improved in like our regulations or protocols that we have within our district. So that would trickle down as well into our schools, possibly into our handbooks, things of that nature.
Okay. And I know our time is limited, so I'll just ask one more question here. What kind of feedback since the sites came out have you been hearing from the community and from students? And how does that influence what happens next?
Right. So we've received both sides. People that are concerned about some of the matters that have been brought to our attention, or some of the specific situations that have been brought to our attention. We take all those seriously. And again, we're going to continue to try to work with our school community. We'll begin to identify some people to meet with and work with, and develop some plans to move forward. If there are things that we need to do to better foster, a better learning environment that's inclusive, or to better address discrimination or racism, we will look into and have that open conversation and identify ways to enhance the things that we do here within our school. Bottom line is, we want this to be a welcoming environment, and we don't tolerate racism or discrimination in our school district. We take all these reports that we are receiving on any form of racism or bullying very seriously, and we do investigate those matters to identify what actions we are able to take within our district. I think moving forward, we do want to listen and be welcoming to a conversation, and we are open and willing for that to take place any day, not just now, but we've always been open to listen to our community and the concerns. We will continue to work with some of those leaders within our community and try to work together to see where we move forward from here. And I'm hoping that out of all this, we will find a way where everyone feels safe, either within our school or within our community. This will be a community effort.